Hello everyone and welcome to the FIA Certified Gran Turismo Championships for 2019. This the Manufacturers Series for the Asia region and our top 16 superstars about to go racing. My name is Chris McCarthy and alongside me to call the action is Jimmy Broadbent.
Yeah, good to be here, Chris. Always love seeing the manufacturers guys, lots of different cars going into the race. Should be a good one.
Well, it should be indeed, and let's have a look at the points as they stand before we go racing. There you go, we've had 7 rounds so far, and the familiar face of Gilles Honda leading the way at the moment with just shy of 9,000 points. Akagi in chase, only around 200 points back, and then we've got Shui not too far behind that.
So you see Alpha there being the car of choice for our leader, and here are the actual global manufacturer rankings as they stand at the moment. Toyota leading from Porsche and Mercedes-Benz. So those guys going through, and you can see on the graph here all the different points from each different region, how they tally up. So a really good demonstration of how the Manufacturer Series actually works. We've been asked that before. Here it is.
Have to ask any surprises for you in there when we look at the standings before we go and have a look at the circuit?
Probably Lexus. Actually, I know they were last year's Manufacturers Champions, but they seem to be struggling a bit at the start. So seeing them fourth, obviously they're a bit of a resurgence, it seems.
Well, let's see if that resurgence continues in the next race, and we are going to be racing around the Suzuka circuit, of course, a very, very famous circuit, some of the most famous corners in motorsport to tackle, and there you can see the circuit map in case you have somehow forgotten what it looks like. We've got the 130R corner, of course, spoon curve as well, and lots of overtaking opportunities coming up as well, particularly that last chicane.
Yeah, we've got T1 of course, and the hairpin as well as the chicane. So very quick circuit, and it's definitely a driver's track. Those who are at one with their car will do a lot better around here than those who are struggling, of course. And probably a favourite bit of trivia about Suzuka, it is a figure of 8 circuit. We wouldn't be a commentator if we didn't mention that at some point, did we? So the penalty line is just after the spoon curve. They're coming down to 130R. So again, a penalty line at the start of a straight. It's there for the reason to really punish people who end up with penalties. So if you end up getting a penalty, you have to serve it. You lose all the speed all the way down to the final chicane there. So try and avoid that if you can.
Well, that's what we got coming up race-wise. Let's have a look at strategy and a little bit of how that might play out. Of course, we've got 15 times tyre wear, medium and soft tyres to choose from, Group 3 cars and 9 laps. So strategy-wise, it's going to be interesting one to see. Some may go for the soft, some may go for the medium tyres. That's how long that we think they're going to last. Soft are going to last 5 laps and medium we think will last 9 laps. What do you think? What do you expect to have coming up in this one?
Yeah, it's a tricky one though. Suzuka is very heavy on tyres, especially through the first S's. So if you're really struggling with your tyre wear, then that's going to cost you it's going to cost you a lot of time, especially here in the first sector. So I think that we will probably see a mix of one stopping and the attempted no stop on the medium. Sometimes we see people who are brave and try and no stop the soft compounder tyres in race like this, the softer compound, but we'll see if that's manageable at all. If you do pit though, it's going to cost you about 14 seconds or so, including the tyre change. So you've got to plan this out before you go racing.
Well, there's all the details you need to know and a little bit about strategy as well, but we'll see what plays out when we go racing. And why don't we do that right about now? Of course, we're going to have a look at the grid first for you. And on pole position, it is going to be Gilles Honda, set a time of a 1:57.06. 0, and there is Gilles Honda in the Alfa Romeo on pole position, just 1/10 back in qualifying. In fact, make that just under half a tenth was Akagi, and 1/10 back we had M2V as well. So it was very, very close between those three, particularly. Black Beauty is going to be on 4th place in the Porsche. Starting in 5th on the Honda is Shui, and then we go back to 6th place where we find Kuro in the Chevrolet Corvette. 7th place it'll be Hein 2 in the Beetle, a very nice looking car, that one. And starting from 8th in the BMW, it's going to be Luca.
Then we go back to the second half of the field. We have GSN there in the Corvette, starting off there in 9th position. Then we have Yamato Racing in 10th position in the GR Supra. Then down in 11th we have the Subaru, the very colourful Subaru of Karakuma there. Always love seeing the deliveries from the Asia region, they always seem to be the best. Arrow there starting 12th in the large BMW M6 with the Genesis Hyundai in 13th, driven by Volte Tatsu. Then we go down to 14th position, it's Mish 12 Cowsonic and a non-Cowsonic livery in the Renault RS Then we have in 15th Legacy 0193 in that AMG. Then rounding off the grid in the Alpha 4C is Servia. So Alphas on first and last on the grid.
Well, if this isn't a close race, I'm going to be very surprised because there were less than 2.5 tenths between the top 9 drivers. Okay, we've got 2 drivers going with the medium tyre in 10th and 11th in Yamato and Kerakuma, but everyone else will start this one with soft tyres, and Gilles Honda is going to lead us down towards the start-finish line for the first time. Interesting to have those 2 drivers on the medium tyres in the middle of the pack with those guys on softs just behind.
Yeah, it's an odd strategy around here. Usually people tend to all go to the same strategy, because these guys are all part of the same community, they communicate with each other. Maybe trying something a little bit different though is kind of it's worth a punt when you're that far down the qualifying. Well, maybe I haven't quite got the pace to win it on pace alone. Let's try something different. So we'll see how that pans out, of course, but worth noting before we get going, the second and third place qualifying, Chris, actually had exactly the same time, 1:57.104, so it's going to be close.
They were 44 thousandths back each from pole position, so this is going to be a very, very close one indeed, and Gilles Honda is going to lead us down towards the start-finish line for the first time of 9 laps. Right, here we go, and Gilles Honda leading us down towards turn number 1, Akagi in the slipstream, and then we've got M2 leading us in the battle for third place with Black Beauty just behind, and Shui rounding out the top 5. No changes going through the first corner. You've got to be careful on that exit curve halfway through turn number 1 as they now come up towards the S's, and it is Gilles Honda leading the way still. No such problem so far.
It's kind of hard to get past here unless you're a lot faster on the first lap, so all following each other through the first time through the S's. And you see just how small that Alpha 4C is compared to the Atenza behind there, the Mazda. The thing's massive on the circuit. It's like a brick compared to the other cars, but fairly quick as in the hands of Akagi 1942 as we come down to the first Degner for the first time. Very fast corner, you slow it down for the second Degner. Very easy to go wider and pick up a penalty if you're not careful. Off that into that left on that Astro. It's very slippy out there. But they're all together so far. So coming down to the hairpin for the first time. No one really close enough to make any moves. Black Beauty there in the, they call it the Grello Porsche, don't they? Coming out of the hairpin. Good traction out there in the MR machine and onto the back of M2 Mario.
Right, well, there is, of course, a nice clean start there, and Gilles Honda is still your leader in the Alfa Romeo car. I'd certainly love driving around this circuit, so I'm not surprised to see Gilles Honda leading the way. However, we've got this long straight now down towards 130R, and Akagi is closing in the slipstream. Was 3 tenths back, but now less than 2.5 tenths back as we get up towards 130R. I'd be very brave to try and move there. I think he's going to have to wait for the chicane as we now fire our way through 130R at 145 mile per hour. Now down to the chicane for the first time, and Akagi still sitting behind as we go through the right. Now into the left. Very quick change of direction, and Gilles Honda dealt with that perfectly and rewarded with a bit of a gap.
Yeah, he's going to need that gap going down the T1. That Mazda is very fast in a straight line, of course assisted by the slipstream as well. But maybe just erring on the side of caution right now. There's no use going for a do or die move at the end of the first lap. We've still got 8 to go at this point, and Gilles Honda will retain the lead coming down into T1 for the second time of asking. Now we come into the S's again, and this is a part of the course that's going to get more and more difficult as the tyres get more and more worn. Now a lot of our guys, as you said at the start, Chris, are on the softer tyre compound, so I'm probably going to guess there is going to be a stop at some point, and if it is happening, it'll be around lap 5 or so, trying to split the race down the middle on the tyres and get the best of the tyre for as long as possible. Now in the background, it looks like M2 Mario in the VW is actually looking pretty quick there alongside Black Beauty, so the top 4 starting to break away a little bit from the rest of the pack. But Shohei behind is still within touching distance if anything goes wrong. And I've got to say, that VW stands out a bit, doesn't it? We've got a couple of VWs. We've got a VW back there in the form of the Beetle as well. But this drop top, I'm not really sure I'd recommend a drop top when you're going to race it. You're going to mess your hair up, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I would say there is the first big break in the field comes when we get to 7th place, doesn't it? After Hind 2, it's a big gap then back to the Chevrolet of about 1.8 seconds. So really any one of the top 7 at this stage you'd say are in contention for at least a top 3 finish as we now head down towards 130R for the second time. Will we see any changes this time? At the moment everyone being patient, which could be a sensible strategy, but I'd say Akagi was closer than he was last time. As we approach 130R, he's less than a tenth of a second behind, pretty much pushing Gilles Honda through the corner, and Gilles Honda there, just the rear end getting a little bit out of shape, but he looks very good on the brakes and will still lead as we complete lap number 2.
Yeah, we've seen in the Nations Cup Series when they raced here a few rounds ago that the Alpha 4C is probably the car of choice around here. Yeah. Very quick, very nimble, so of course Gilles Honda there having a nice time in the corners, but as you're seeing, the Atenza of the Mazda Atenza driven by Akagi, very quick in the straight line, looks to the inside, and I think this is going to be it. He's had enough of waiting behind. There you go, up the inside, nice and firm pass, sits on the apex there, doesn't give Gilles a chance to come back at him, and Akagi there, tactical move up into first place.
A good respect shown by both drivers there. I'd say Gilles Honda gave him the room to make the move when he knew he'd had to admit defeat, and because of that he remains in the battle for the lead and only dropped to second, so good driving by the pair of them. But look what that's done to the lead group. It's made it a lot closer, hasn't it? Third and fourth right in there. Likewise Shui, who we are on board with in 5th place as we go towards the first Degner. You can just see Black Beauty ahead of us, just pushing along M2 Mario through Degner 1, now down towards Degner 2. Very easy to outbrake yourself into there. Don't run too wide on the exit. And now we head down towards the hairpin. This lap number 3 of 9. Just dropping away with Shui there a little bit, struggling out the corner slightly.
Yeah, struggling a bit on the second Degner, but a tiny bit too wide into the corner and lost a bit of speed. Same here, a little bit sideways there on the exit and end up losing that momentum. He needs to try and work on getting the exit hooked up a bit more. That's where he's struggling the most, it seems, at the moment. It must be very claustrophobic in this little pack for Mario and Black Beauty. They're in the middle of it all at the moment. If anything goes wrong, they're going to get just completely ejected from the circuit or from this little following pack. But you see the top 4 especially, although Shui's right on them, the top 4 especially are very, very close. It's about 8 tenths between 1st and 4th place at the moment. And of course everyone apart from Akagi now has a draft coming up to 130R.
And I'll tell you what, fars in a battle like this will be pouring with sweat, but I can tell you, even though we can't see these drivers, they will be cool as ever as they come through 130R. Now down to the chicane. Shui's just going to close in slightly on the brakes. Let's see if he can nail it this time and keep himself in this top 4. Perfect, and away he goes. He's got a gap of just 8 tenths of a second behind him, so Shui in a very good position here, but let's see what the top 4 do now. It's lap number 4 of 9 we are about to begin. No pit stops so far, and I guess we're getting to that region of potentially seeing someone come into the pits.
Yeah, we might see a bit of the tyre wear come into play now. Of course, we do have the tyre multiplier on, so these tyres are getting a bit of a battering going around at the hands of our superstars. And there is Gilles Honda, very basic livery there. Of course, a Mario fan with Yoshi on the side. Nice to see him putting his hobbies and interest in his car. What else do you say to that? Coming up
I don't know what to say.
Coming up through Dunlop now, a bit of a deceptively difficult corner actually, I should say. The front right car takes a bit of a beating around there, front right tyre, sorry. Very easy to go wide if you're not careful. Meanwhile, Mario and Black Beauty are now very close on the circuit, literally a tenth between them coming in to the second Degner now. Yep, but it looks like Mario has got a tiny bit of breathing room now, but that's how close these guys are. Oh, in the background the Beetle is trying very hard there. That is Hein 2 in the background, just trying his best to get onto the back of these guys and trying a little bit too hard there. Just about managed to cover it up though.
I think Hein 2, a little bit of panic setting in here. You can see the pack is breaking away and he's just getting a little bit nervous. Either that or it's tyre wear. Now, I don't know about you, Jimmy, but I didn't see Gilles Honda make a mistake. Is this just tyre wear? The fact that he's just falling behind at every corner, despite the fact it looks like he's driving absolutely perfectly.
It may be that, it might just be the car differences. The cars evolve differently on different tyres.
Right.
I'm sure you'll know, Chris. And as the time goes on, each car's characteristic is kind of exaggerated almost as the tyre wear gets worse and worse. Meanwhile, Black Beauty is practically pushing Mario down the straight. I think actually he is pushing him right up to the back of Gilles Honda. And there you go, we're going super speedway racing now. We've got these guys buff driving each other coming to 130R. And Black Beauty again, not really going for the inside though. He gets close but just thinks, no, I'm not going to do that this yet. I think he's happy where he is now. I knew our driver's going to pin into the pit lane. Akagi does wiggles and they all come in now. They're all coming in at the end of lap 4 then coming on to lap 5. So it's going to be a one-stop strategy for the guys on the soft tyres. Now, let's see what the medium tyre runners can do because they're still running around. Kerakuma is the first of the medium tyre runners. And here he is coming down the start-finish straight. Where will he come out? That's interesting. We've got Yamado in on the medium tyres. So Karakuma is the only person on the medium tyres not to have stopped, and only him and Luca are out on the circuit right now.
So it's a brave strategy from Luca. Must feel that he's got enough in the tyres here. But Karakuma, this is when he's got to try and make the most of those tyres and try and just pull a gap from the likes of Akagi. 6 seconds in hand at the moment, so absolutely no mistakes can be made now from Karakuma. Luca looks like he's really struggling. I'd say Luca's going to have to come in at the end of this lap, surely. That BMW looks like the tyres underneath that have absolutely gone now. He shredded those to pieces, so I think Luca will come in. That said, Karakuma not closing in a particularly fast rate, so I wonder if Karakuma is starting to struggle a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they come in at the end of the lap. I think we'll certainly see Luca come in. Karakuma might be trying the no stop, which will be very difficult round, especially as Akagi is now only 5 seconds behind. You can just about see him coming through the hairpin just off your screen there. So I don't think Karakuma is really going to be able to defend that much, but if he's coming in this lap, then really he's just kind of screwed himself over a little bit, because he's just going out there on the worst tyre for longer and just losing time doing that. That's where the undercut comes into play. You spend less time on the worst tyre compared to competitors, and just try and make the time that way. But coming up to 130R now, and Luca, currently our leader, temporarily I imagine, the BMW, started in 12th, which sounds not great, but it was only 6/10 off the pole time. It shows just how close these guys are. He goes very wide at 130R there, just grabs a bit of the curb, throws him off into the grass, just about manages to get it in a straight line before braking, but that was very close to it. Quite a big accident there for Luca.
Yeah, Luca's got to be careful, and he's going to go in the pits. Well, I think Karakuma, this is him basically stating that he's going to try and go to the end. I think that was probably his strategy when he picked those medium tyres, and he wants to see how good or badly it does. So Karakuma out there for the time being. Akagi, though, has halved that gap, maybe even more of that. Akagi bringing it down to 2.8 seconds. So Akagi doing very well, and he's managed to pull a gap of 1.4 to Gilles Honda. So doing well straight out of the pits there.
Yeah, he's been doing that right now. All these top guys. Karakuma is, I say, he is a threat. They still have to pass him on track, of course, but I think that once they get there, it'll just be a matter of driving around him on these newer tyres. It's really hard to stay or overstay, I guess, just how good these new tyres are when they're on the car. It's almost like being in a different class at this point. So Karakuma, whilst it looks like he might not be driving too quick, he's doing the best he can on a set of worn medium tyres compared to the guys behind on a set of fresh soft. Look right now, there is Akagi, there is Gilles Honda in the background. Look how much closer they are now. Look in the braking zone. Look how much time he can just right on the back now of the Subaru.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Akagi gets delayed by a fraction here by Karakuma, then Akagi might fall into the clutches of Gilles Honda. So this could be interesting if Karakuma is caught, say, in the chicane or something like that. Akagi, it might not do him any favours whatsoever. We've got a good battle going on in the background there between M2 Mario and Black Beauty as well. Those guys looking very, very close, but we must stay with this. Akagi catching Karakuma. Is he going to try and get past down the straight? Karakuma's going to go defensive. This very, very bad news for Akagi now. Gilles Honda's going to be loving this, but Akagi's going to try and brave it round the outside. There's a bit of contact, and Akagi's done it. Oh, well, aggressive driving there by Akagi, stating to Karakuma that he is coming by, and Karakuma in the end has to back out of it. That was an aggressive approach taken by Akagi, but one that could win him the race.
Nice to see that Karakuma really didn't want to give it up, but of course there's not much you can do against a fresh tyre. Now here comes Gilles Honda. We know that Alpha isn't the fastest car in a straight line, but the Subaru isn't either, so Gilles goes up the inside, coming down the T1 nice and easy there. Sives passed up into second place and now hot in the pursuit of Akagi. Now in the background we've got M2 Mario and Black Beauty. These guys have been pretty much joined at the hip since the start of the race. They've been really very close together. But Black Beauty just not quite able to get around that very interesting chop-top BMW, sorry, the Volkswagen there. coming up now through the last part of the S's. Now this is where Mario's going to get held up big time through Dunlop. Black Beauty's looking around the outside there, and Mario squeezes by on the inside. Look, free wide now. Black Beauty's going to try it as well. He's on the inside for the left-hander, but on the outside for the Degner, and there goes the NSX as well, pushing Mario through. They get swamped. Karakuma goes from 3rd to 6th in the one corner. Mario's still on the inside of the first Degner. Black Beauty is not going to give it up. They're still side by side. Next corner is a left-hand hairpin, so Black Beauty might have it. MS Mario, they're looking over for a second. Hard on the brakes goes to Black Beauty, and through he goes. Will the NSX come through as well? He's trying to follow through, and the VW gets a good run off the exit and just keeps 4th place for now. Wow, and that all started there with Karakuma just being a bit slower.
Yeah, M2 Mario, they're doing a good job in the end. Damage limitation done, 4th place. Black Beauty through to 3rd, and will be hoping to just pull away now if he can. Shui is there in 5th place. Then we've got Karakuma, of course, the sitting duck in 6th place. Hein 2 will be going straight past, I'm sure, in 7th. Oh, there was a bit of contact there. I saw Karakuma going a little bit sideways, and that's going to see Hein 2 go by. And just behind that, we've got the likes of Kuro, G5N, GSN, sorry, as well. Drivers we haven't really mentioned so far, and they're now breaking well into the top 10 as well. Out front, Akagi's got a lead of a second, but Shui's now going to go through to 4th place, down the inside there of M2 Mario, and Shui now on the tail of Black Beauty in a battle for 3rd place.
I saw Black Beauty really slow there through the chicane. I thought he might have went off, but now he's having to defend big time from Shui. He's going up the inside. He's just set a little gap there, and he's taken, thank you very much, I'll take the inside line. Black Beauty goes to the outside to try and get a better run through the corner. Onto the AstroTurf, he slides, he just about gathers it up. A little bit of contact with Shui there, which probably actually saved him from spinning, but he loses a place, so the Honda NSX goes up into 3rd position there, and Porsche demoted down to 4th. These guys are really going at it. That last step on the podium is hotly contested.
Well, I'm not too sure how Black Beauty held on to that, but he's kept himself in the fight for 3rd place now. So Black Beauty, good driving in the end to hold on to 4th place, even if it nearly cost him going round into a spin. This is M2 Mario we're on board with, going up to the Degners, who will want to try and pull himself back up towards this battle. Gilles Honda still stabilising a gap of around 1 second to Akagi as we approach the final lap of the race. But is Black Beauty going to try and lunge down the inside of Shui? Not at the hairpin, not now anyway. He's going to have another lap to try and do so, and that was not a good exit from Shui at all.
Yeah, big drift there, it's going to slow him down on the exit, and of course that will mean that Black Beauty will have a better run coming up to this spoon curve. Black Beauty's involved in all sorts of aggressive driving today. I mean, he's really having a good time out there. Looks up the inside half-heartedly there at Spoon, decides better off. I tell you what, Chris, if I was Black Beauty, I want a strong drink in the dark room after this, mate. This is some really intense stuff.
Well, I'm sure we can sort that somehow, but Black Beauty going up towards 130R is going to pull to the inside. He's looking left and right, doesn't know which way to go. And behind this, M2 Mario finds himself in a similar situation as Shui does, who we're on board with now at 150, turning through 130R. Black Beauty does not look close enough. Someone's going wide in the background, and Shui in the end is just going to be able to hold on to 3rd place as we go on to the last lap. Kuro, it was, he was going wide in the background. It looks all out of shape, and now drops away from the battle for 5th place, which could become a 4-way battle for 3rd if it carries on like it is with Shui and Black Beauty.
Mario dropped off the back of 3rd and 4th, and now he has Hein in the other VW, his VW compatriot, I should say, but they are very, very much in direct competition. Hein going a bit wide there, almost grabs the Astro. We know how slippy that can be. And there goes Mario there, having a little bit of a sideways moment. We're on the last lap now, so Black Beauty's probably trying to think, right, where is my car faster? I think if anywhere that Porsche's a bit quicker through the middle of the corner, but just can't quite get the exit compared to the NSX in front. So that'll mean to me maybe having a lunge, maybe going into the hairpin and then just trying to sit on the apex and go from there. You can see just how close the Porsche is to the back of that back of the Honda in front. Here is a bit of VW on VW action though. Hein looking to the inside. No, he manages to stay there for now. Can't really overtake there. This is feeling very brave, I should say. And then we come to the second Degner and just really push him. Come on, mate. Oh, no! Just too hard on the power. A little bit of contact there, and Hein gets it all kind of sideways, which is going to allow Kuro in the Corvette to go up to 3rd. Shui there. Sorry, back up to 6th, I should say. Shui defending 3rd, sideways off the exit of the hairpin there. And now it's a drag race, Chris.
Yeah, Black Beauty's going to have the inside though for the next corner. Shui is going to be stuck on the outside, so this not good for Shui at all. He's going to have to try and fight back down the straight as we go into towards 3rd place there for Black Beauty. So Black Beauty, a brilliant move through Spoon Curve. Shui drops to 4th place, now down the straight towards 130R, and Black Beauty up to 3rd at the right time with a little bit of a gap as well. So this is very bad news for Shui. M2 Mario there in 5th place. I think Black Beauty has done it just at the right time. May have to defend into the chicane. Needs a good run through 130R and has one. Out front though, Akagi it is who's going to round the last corner and take the win. A fantastic drive in the Mazda, and Akagi wins the race from Gilles Honda, who put up a good drive to finish a solid 2nd place. And here comes Black Beauty, solid 3rd place for him.
Yeah, great finish there for Black Beauty. I think you might have been under a bit of pressure there from Shui, but managed to keep it in 3rd for there. There's Karakuma there, our leader for 1 lap or so on the medium tyres. No stop, the only person not to make a stop, finishing in 9th position. There's Arrow 71 coming home in 13th. We have Volatitatsu and GSM 15th, which means that Servia in the Alpha at the back, 6 seconds off the back, will come home last. But there is our winner, Akagi, 1942, in that Mazda Atenza. Made the move on lap 3, made it stick, and that was the race.
Brilliant racing there. You can see the finishing positions as well. 1st through to 8th, Akagi, Gilles Honda and Black Beauty. Your top 3. It was fantastic racing. Hotly contested as well. Lots of overtaking. You can't say we were not shy of that. And there you can see Karakuma, who was on the medium tyres at the start, 9th, and Servia rounding out the top 16. Okay, let's have a look at how that affects the point standings now with 8 rounds completed and a change at the top. Akagi takes the lead with 9,374 points ahead of Gilles Honda, and lots of drivers on the move like Black Beauty, who had a good race. Yamato, despite a fairly poor race, goes up to 8th place, and then we had Anchovy going up to 9th as well, with Legacy up to 12th place. So some big changes with 8 rounds gone. And we're going to have the manufacturer rankings coming up next. Toyota still in the lead, Porsche in 2nd. You said to watch out for Lexus. There they are in 3rd.
Yeah, there they are, making gains up in the top 3 now. They'll be very happy with that. And also Aston Martin actually coming onto our leaderboard in 12th place there. So they'll be very happy with that. Of course, being in the leaderboard is the way to be around in the final. So
yeah,
the Aston guys just hanging on for now.
Yep, 3rd place, of course, they were last year. Very close in terms of points, only around 84 points between our top 4, so room for this to change again. And don't forget, we've got our GT World Tour event coming up next. The next event on our calendar is the Nürburgring. Of course, we'll be at the Nürburgring 24-hour on June the 21st and 22nd. All the coverage will be brought to you live in those usual places at those following times. Make sure you join us. It's goodbye for now.